Hey, it's Sick Boy from the Gaming Anarchist Collective, and Polygon have done some shitty things, we all know this. They've just done something as of yesterday and also carried on into today that I think needs to be mentioned. I think it needs to be known about, and I think people who feel strongly about this matter should perhaps take this further, because this is some shady shit. Now, yesterday they published this article. WTF is wrong with video games. You'll see that it is written by Polygon staff, clearly because nobody in their right mind would want to put their name to this toxic shite. I don't use the word toxic very often because it's been misused by knobbags, but genuinely, this is some negative shit. I'm going to read you the first couple of paragraphs, and then I'm going to explain what is so deeply wrong with this article. After decades fighting the perception that video games are little more than diverting toys, the games industry won its most important battle. In 2011, the United States Supreme Court classifies games as speech protected by the First Amendment. Games had arrived as a legitimate form of art alongside movies and music and books, or so the industry and community claim. Phil Owen, disrespected video game journalist and critic, believes otherwise. In WTF is Wrong with Video Games, he set out to lay bare all the fundamental issues with games and the industry that makes them, that are holding his burgeoning medium back from fulfilling its true potential as interactive storytelling art. We've included a brief excerpt to the first chapter, Art. You can purchase a Kindle version of WTF is Wrong with Video Games on Amazon for $2.99. Or on Gumroad at a pay what you want price of at least $3. Okay, I'm not going to go into the content of his chapter, it's all there for you to read. Basically, he's saying, I really like stories, I really hate games, games shouldn't be fun, they should all be arty. See my previous video about why games shouldn't grow up, because of these pieces of shit. Because they, not that games aren't art, but we should stop trying to argue that they are. They have free speech under the American Constitution, that's great for you, and the rest of the world just considers them an entertainment medium. That should be enough. The second you start trying to say this is a grown-up medium that is still largely aimed at children, let's not bear this in mind, it is fun. A lot of gaming is puerile fun, and that these people want to suck that away because they are avant-garde douchebags, as I have said. Now, why is this article bad? I mean, as it stands, Polygon staffer written a wanky article about some wanker who is acting like he knows all about video games. Now, he may have some points. Is the AAA industry stagnating? There is not enough innovation, for my opinion. I don't think there's enough consumer quality. I don't think there's enough really reliance in the industry. I think there's too many duff ports. I think there's a lot of problems and there's a lot of intellectually deficient, boring shit that should be good. And so there are some points to say that the AAA industry is in need of a revolution and is in need of a kick up the arse. Because now and again a game comes along and it's fantastic, and a lot of the time it's just shovelware crap. Previously, it was FPS after FPS. Currently, it's open world after open world. Some done well, some done shite. But it's the fact that they jump on a bandwagon and just milk a genre until it's boring and then they go on to something else. We all know that this is what happens, and a lot of people would really like to see more creativity. No arguments there. But this knobhead is talking about the gamey aspects of The Last of Us meant I couldn't enjoy the art because there was too much game and I hate the game. I don't like playing games. Well, don't play games, knobhead. Just as a thought, do something else. Make your own little interactive media, by all means. But stop being a pretentious twat. No, but that is just a disagreement. That's not a problem. That's not any form of conflict of interest. That's not any kind of factor that's really worth making a video about. But later in the day, after this guy, Phil Owen, was all over Twitter acting like a complete and utter knob, telling people that the gaming industry is racist and sexist and gamers are dinosaurs who need to learn that they're not the future and blah 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 blah, whatever mate, whatever, Goonie Beard Man, what the fuck ever. Seriously, white beardy dudes, can you stop letting the side down? I don't like being one of the few people to hold up the fucking flag for awesome for our group. Sorry. Most of you people fucking suck, you cliquey douchebags. So, back to the point. Now I'll show you how the article currently looks. Notice that the author has magically changed. Who wrote this article? Oh! Phil Owen wrote this article. He wrote his own fucking advertising piece published on Polygon. Now, if he'd have done that as an advertising piece, initially came out of the gate, wrote about himself in first person, made it clear it was about him, I again would not have had this problem. But they published this under an anonymous name in order to give this some kind of leverage, to make it seem more important than it is. And I'm just going to make a point, just to drive this home, just how small this clique are, just how really pathetic they actually are, and how they are desperate to worm their way in and take control of a community that doesn't want them taking control of anything. Do you know what? You're welcome in, but stop trying to rearrange the furniture. We're all happy the way it is. Go make your own little den in the corner, right? Don't bother us, fuckface. So, let's just have a quick look at the Amazon reviews page. Now, I'm going to ignore the unverified reviews, mainly because they are people who were, understandably, a bit hacked off with this guy being a prick, and they've left reviews. So there are 3 legitimate verified reviews. One is a 1-star review, absolutely taking this apart. Again, I will link to where these are, but I'm just going to show briefly. So here you go, you have this one by a user called Babson who has ripped it apart. I'm not going to read it, he's just read it and said it's a piece of shit. Now, these are the 4-star and 5-star reviews for this book. Now, as you can see, at least one of these 2 clearly has a disclosure that they're in the acknowledgements of the book and they're a close personal friend of the author. The other one is a guy who follows him on Twitter and is a little social justice troll, always spouting off and has people blocked on a block bot and is just generally here because people have pointed out that there was some shady stuff going on and he's come along to give a 5-star review. Well, you know, bully for him. Now let's be real here. In these days of self-publishing, it's not really a major deal that anybody's asked their mates to do any reviews, or that someone who would give you a positive review out of spite for other people is someone who follows you on Twitter. That's not really any kind of major issue. I just wanted to point it out that those were the only positive reviews for this wonderful thing that Polygon thought was fine to write a false advertising piece about, that it's so good that only 2 people who have a vested interest in commenting, only one prior to the release of the article, I might add, and that was only 4 out of 5, and that was done by a friend. 1 5 out of 5 by a guy who was responding to the controversy. A load of negative review, and I'll just be honest, guys, anybody who did that, don't leave fake reviews on books or anything. It's just shitty. Don't do it to people. You know what? If you want to invest in the book and comment on it, then that's fine. If you want to talk about that the guy's a dick or that you think the whole idea is stupid, do so. But don't leave false reviews. At least, you know, Amazon are listed down the verified purchase, which is why the majority of them are 1-star reviews. But to be fair, it probably would have been 1-star if these had been bought, but no one's going to buy this. It's a pamphlet. It's a short little book for $3. And nobody cares. This is why I care about the way Polygon have done things. No one cares about this shit, but you've tried to push it on people. You've tried to falsely advertise it. And that's fucking shady. It's shady on the author's part, it's shady on Polygon's part. And I'll leave the link in the description field if anybody wants to send the evidence, also in the description field, to the FTC in the form of a complaint. Because I'm sure they take a very dim view on misleading, undisclosed advertising, and I don't give a shit that they came back later after controversy kicked in and changed the name. Sorry, got the archive of the original print. How inconvenient for you. In these days we can go back and update your website to pretend something was there all along, that people can actually take archive snapshots. And those can't be faked. Doesn't that suck for you, dude? Really sucky. Anyway, these people are a goddamn cancer. They're so desperate to take over and run things and be these sort of academic powerhouses, and they're not. They're nobodies. They're just random losers who are desperate to be something. Whereas realistically, Gamers, geeks in general, people are just into a fandom, just want to be into the fandom. That's its own reward. Not to lead it, not to be thought leaders, not to be publishing articles about it constantly. The reason people publish articles about fandoms is because they're passionate about the fandom, not because they want to infiltrate it so they can act like avant-garde knob jockeys. These people have got to go. Or if they're willing to, they want to stay, they need to stay on terms that are mutually agreeable to everybody, and that is, have your opinion, but stop trying to fucking manipulate the discourse. Stop trying to lie, stop trying to twist and make things about you. They're not about you. You're entitled to your opinion. You are not entitled to try and fake shit by utilising media contacts to be fucking shifty. Anyway guys, thanks a lot for watching. Catch you guys later.